Hello, everybody, and a very happy Wednesday to each and every one of you, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. So we've got some lovely faces over here to the side. We are going to start off today by taking a look at this trailer that Jordan sent over, and we're just going to take a look at, he just was curious about my general thoughts on it. So I haven't seen it yet, so we're just going to do a little live reaction to it, and we'll see how it goes. Then we'll go through some individual projects that have been submitted. So, opening shot, very cool. Mysterious. I like any character that starts off as a little bit of a silhouette. This is some nice aerial perspective. I love you got the sun kind of shining in here and hitting the glancing angle at the buildings. Sky. It's a nice little combination of what looks like a backplate sky with some CG mountains in that castle. That's a lot of blood. It's liquidy dripping blood. So that shot's nice. So this shot's nice. In that, do you see how there's a lot of pink on the character and not a lot on the set? Just that little bit of pink allows us to really zero in on the character in the middle. It goes away by the next shot, and that's because we're already kind of looking in that area, so there's less of a desire to do that. And you can also see when the character turns around here that his black point is darker than the black point on anything else. Spatially, it doesn't necessarily make the most sense, but in terms of directing the viewer's eye, it works out well. Focus on the ground. He's going into Mordor. Oh, that looked pretty. That last shot looked pretty amazing. Like that movement of the flame light on the wall is really nice. Like you can feel it moving with him, and also like the pulsating of the light itself. Something felt off on this shot. I think it's like the lack of motion blur or something on the. I think it's the lack of motion blur on the camera motion blur, because it's like, it just makes it feel very stroby on that camera move, but. Look how they're highlighting the teeth down there. It's cool. It's more like having the light hit behind it and have the silhouette of the teeth pop through. It's interesting. Lens flare. Mega scan face. Oh, that shot looks great. Wow, that one. The hands really felt real there for a sec. Some really nice detail work on all this stuff. Good rack focus. Again, like how do you get this small character to read on this? You have him emerge into the light. Only the light hits right there. Allow all of this to go into darkness here. That's pretty cool. A lot of this color palette of warm torchlight over gray surroundings. Because all of the surroundings are really, really monochromatic. This, I'm not crazy about how yellow that is. Sorry, now I'm just giving feedback on something that nobody asked for. That's nice. That was that's something you got to watch out for when you're lighting a sequence. It got real confusing real fast. So it's like this guy flies up, cut to him, what? I lost that. So there's this is something that happens in a cut. You have to be able to track something. So it goes here, and then I guess he kind of goes around it might just be a camera move issue, but basically he then cuts around back behind him and then kind of just stabs him in the back. So I get confused by action sequences. Oh, now they're doing the 300. Cool.
I think and it was kind of weird because you didn't really see what the dragon had to do with the fight scene until after they did that cut.
Right.
I think if they had, because we already established that the dragon's there, probably didn't need to do this cut. You could have just had the dragon land into the fight scene, and that way it wouldn't have been so confusing.
It's also just like, it becomes a lot of... this is one of those that like gets designed before motion blur gets added, because a lot of this just becomes a mushy mess, and you can't really see what's happening. Like this shot, it's just like every frame... And I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but like... But these two shots cutting together, it's just like a lot of... It's just blurry kind of...
Well, that and too, like the lighting and everything on the dragon doesn't match the fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, here's the snow, and then they're cutting to this fight scene, and it's like, well, is the dragon part of that fight scene? Is it a different fight scene?
True.
So it's just kind of, yeah. And I think that's actually in a different environment. I think from where that fight scene with the two white masked people are, or it just seems like that because the lighting's so different.
Yeah, the texture work on some of these components are really great. Like that, the helmet looks really rad. Flame looks great. It's a nice transition. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think this is really stinking incredible. Like there were some shots that were just like super dope. Like I said, this one of him like walking up the side. Just that one felt really nice. Yeah, just some of the like varying colors on the warmth of the like. Because right now, I guess maybe it's a different flame, but this flame feels very red-orange, and then we cut to this, and it feels much more yellow. Yeah, it's interesting.
I really like the animation. It feels very, like, everything, it feels like it has a really good weight to it.
That's true. Yeah, I never look at animation when I'm looking at this stuff. I always like look at like the color design and everything, but yeah, you're right. They're, like, that is so good. That, I mean, it's like... It's just like a feather in the hand, but there's nothing wrong with that shot. That's like a perfect, really beautiful, like a really subtle amount of rim light around to get this posture on the hand, but like it doesn't feel over the top, like a little bit of rim there. Yeah, just really great stuff. All right, cool. Let's hop over into some of our stills for today. All right, so I'll go through these alphabetically with those that are here. Abishek, you are here, and your name starts with AB, so you are off and running. Okay, so it's been a little while since we've seen this guy.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm in time.
So
I'm on time.
Yeah. So what has been updated? What would you change? What's different this time around?
Actually, I made some of the changes that you told me. I just got time to render this single frame only. Actually, I didn't get the time to do the re-render of that light. It's taking too much of time, and I don't have that much time because I got the job. That's why.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so personal projects kind of take a back seat.
Yeah, so I decided to go with this single frame only.
Great. So with this single frame, I think we've got a little bit of brightness up here at the top of the eye. Let's just take that down just a little bit. Like it's just this like very tight circle right there. Like this value up in here gets really nice. It's just like, it's probably a reflection, but right there gets super bright. Also, watch out for what's happening right here, which is it's fine, but it's just like we're seeing the bottom of the sharp chip, and it almost feels like it's starting to layer on top of this one. So I would even just go in and just kind of fudge this edge a little bit. And really what that is because there's a internal Z depth blur that's occurring. So like, normally when you do depth blur in Nuke, you have your nice clean alpha edges around the outside, but occasionally things layer over top of each other inside of the alpha, and that Z depth data can get a little bit janky around the edge. Like you can really start to see the stair stepping there. So I would just smooth that out just a touch.
So you were just saying that I should do the little more blur, or I just defocus it? What you were saying? I didn't get you actually.
I think you just need to. I mean, like I would just blur the edge of this chip a little bit because that way it feels like it's behind this one. Really, honestly, it's just because there's a hard line there. We just need to soften that line.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. I got it.
And then I wonder, we've got some nice haze in here, and I think that's great. I just wonder if it wouldn't be beneficial to have a little bit more, like, just these corners. Just allow these corners to go a little bit darker. Just to get some like grounding dark elements in there. So just like a little bit of darkening right around the corners. Because then it really kind of grounds the whole image into place, like with those darker values. I'm going to open up. Does anybody else see anything? Any other adjustments that we should make? Yeah, I think this one looks good. Yeah, I would just tweak those last little few things, and I think we can call this a nice finished, polished still.
Yeah, I guess this all the changes are done in comp, and I don't need to do the re-render stuff.
I don't think so.
That's very good.
Yeah, of course.
Currently for me right now.
Good. I like to keep things just as comp notes. That's perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Bye bye, Mike.
All right. Take care, man. Have a good day. All right, Forrest.
It's almost. I'm going to bed.
That's right. That's right. It's like it's the middle of the night by you. Enjoy the last few minutes of your day.
Yeah.
All right, be good, man. All right, Forrest. Cool. All right. So, the darkening of the mouth looks better. There's like a hard line going down the side here. See that? It's like some sort of seam edge. So,
yeah, I was wondering if it was like the UV seam or and if there are ways to kind of blur that.
Yeah, I mean, if you take it back into Substance Painter, you probably could. You could. I'm just surprised we haven't seen that before. It's just double check, make sure everything's lined up right, because that is.
Yeah,
feels
I'll double
jarring.
check them. It could definitely be just like how I brought it in.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see. And then so the biggest thing when I looked at this image from the first go was that I feel like we're missing some brighter values overall. Like I think we can make like bring it up just a little bit, like just bring up the exposure level. And then one of the things that we were talking about was these tendrils look that looks better. A little bit more saturation on those. They feel a little bit like low key. Let's go back. Actually, let me look at some of your reference from yesterday. Yeah, so I like the coloring on this one. That's there's the black spots on the face that are cool, but like we don't necessarily need to do that. It's more that like I think we can probably go a little bit less saturated in the immediate face. And that will allow some of the areas around it to kind of stand out and kind of frame them up a little bit. But you don't necessarily have to do that. I was just like looking because we were seeing this reference. And we've got that pass through underneath. This is kind of tricky. So even if we don't do that, I think we probably need to go a little brighter underneath the chin. It almost feels glowy under there. It's really interesting.
Every time I see somebody do this one, I'm like, I need to do this one soon. It's just so cute.
He's really cute. Yeah, I was really proud. This was one. So lots of times when we were working on designing stuff with Sarah, it was kind of like, okay, I wonder what we want to do. And this was one of the first ones. I was like, I want an axolotl. I want one. So I think that just like getting this level up underneath him, and it's almost kind of orangey. So even just that, just like so we can, and like this is a 2D example of this, so it's not quite right. But like, just getting like to really feel that subsurface. I wonder if you could, but like the thing is then, no, because I think it's okay that the mouth is still dark. I'm wondering like, because then it's like light's passing through everything but not his mouth, but I think it's okay. How are you feeling about this? What are you thinking?
I think that's a good call, and I did brighten it up. I have like an area light, a small area light below him that's just affecting the subsurface, and maybe what I could do is add a radial ramp,
Yes,
gobo, and then give it some color.
that's smart. I like that. And I think so this is always the thing with specularity level underwater, because like underwater there is technically like no speck because everything is kind of the same wetness, I think, if I remember right. If I've looked at reference on this, yeah, like. But I like a little bit of speck in my underwater scenes, so I think that looks good. I'm wondering if the background. Let me try this. Actually, I don't know if this will work or not. I'm wondering if we can't get a little bit more color into the background overall, just to kind of help him pop off a little bit.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, just like because like I like where you're heading with it, and that it's nice and kind of desaturated. But I think we just push a little bit more of that green in there.
And you're saying mainly to the background to make him pop?
Yeah, don't do it to him. The second the second that this guy gets a touch of green on him, he just grays out and looks kind of sickly.
Cool.
Yeah. And then just eye dings at some point. Not crucial, but just helps him go bing, bing. Just makes him look happier. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this one? Any additions that we could make to?
The only thing that I noticed was that the reference material, or the reference little dudes, they're actually like very colorful. There's a little bit of blue in the eyes. There's some orange under the chin. The top of the head is sort of a like very high subsurface, just kind of not saturated, and his chin is like orange. So I don't know if you wanted to add a bunch of different like your character is kind of one color, but you could really like in the reference there's some blue subsurface in the guy's little fingers and his tail in the back, so they're quite colorful. True.
Yeah, because when we designed this, it was never. I didn't think about it being quite this close, but this is, yeah. But you're totally right. That is some additional detail that would really help.
Yeah,
actually, I think as well that is a little bit translucent. Mm-hmm. The reference images looks like the skin or the full body is a bit translucent. That's why it gets so much of the subsurface from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, I wonder if a translucent, like a glass shader, would look even better than a subsurface. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I guess he just doesn't have any bone in there. I guess she's just like it's all just like mush.
I don't know.
I've never held one, which is my next step in this.
I have never seen one.
They're very rare and endangered, and it's problematic. But yeah, I've never seen one. I should find one in an aquarium somewhere. All right.
Give him a slight squeeze and report back.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
thank you for the feedback, everybody.
Yeah, no, thank you, Forrest. This is good. All right, cool. All right, Jason. So I think we could push the rim light even stronger. I think because let's see. This is not going to work the way I want, but just push this higher, and then I'll just erase around her. Because I really do like, because we do kind of. She just stands out so much in the rest of the shot that at this very end we just like, you know, she is our hero. She's just defeated the enemy, and we really want to make sure that we see her stand out a little bit. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so just I don't know if I can make this work, but just I don't have my Wacom out. It's a problem with it. I've got this little desk. It's like it's big, but it's like really shallow, so I can never have my Wacom out with all my other stuff. Yeah, just like really getting her to kind of pop off a little bit more from the background. Just so we're still sure that she's there, and that's it. I think everything else is looking really good. I mentioned this yesterday, but the glow, like it really feels like a light source now. I think that's nice.
Yeah, previously the light source was a little bit below ground.
Mhm.
Right now is almost at the same level.
Yeah, and it's mostly because when it was below ground, we lost that like top edge of the brightness, and so by the time it got out, it was just kind of like a little bit like a little bit not quite in the punchy light source thing. So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, great. All right, Keldon,
Thanks.
you are next up. So we took a long look at this prior to the session. Oh, actually, I think I got. Is this the newer one? Let me see. I think I.
Yeah, it's a pretty slight change. The newer one's the brighter eye one. You can tell.
Oh, got it. Yes. Okay, cool. Put this over top of this. Close this.
Yeah, just a little bit warmer, a little bit more subsurf, and a little
Got it.
brighter.
Oh, that's good. I think we can go further with the subsurface, just because now that I'm thinking about it, like she is small, like a gummy bear, right? And she would have because subsurface works at scales, and it could really help serve as a scale guide. And I'm not saying that she should be gummy bear translucent, but like a little bit more. It's just because we can see this dark kind of triangle here on the side of her.
One thing when I was messing around with that, I noticed when I cranked up the subsurf higher than this, she was either very orangey or she was very just like white. I tried having the subsurface color just I played with that a bunch, and then the original has her subsurf fed in just from her base color, but that just made her look very white. So I'm not sure. Maybe I could just mess around with that a bit more.
Just
but
try, yeah.
those were kind of the only two results that I could get.
Well, give it a try, because you might be able to adjust it in the comp too a little bit more easily than actually in the render. So as long as you're getting something visible showing up, and then you have that as part of the AOV set, and then you can just dial in that value a little bit more. So we looked at this in Maya before the start, and because like one of the things we were saying was that it's just the geometry and the way that this functions. It makes the light look like it's outside of the mushroom. And so I wonder, now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it, I wonder if it wouldn't be, because now I'm almost like, what if we did it in the shader instead? Like, what if we like an emission shader that kind of has a ramp that only is focused on around the center point. Just give it a try, see if it works.
Yeah, I'll mess around with that. Sure.
Cool. But everything else I think is looking really good. Does anybody have any thoughts on this one? Yeah,
I think I have two quick thoughts.
Yeah, go.
I think probably because they're out of focus, but the mushrooms in the back, it feels like the spots would be raised, which is what like a mushroom like that would be. And then this one that's close up, they look painted on. So it'd be interesting if those kind of had a little bit of either bump or displacement to have them kind of raised up a little bit. And then the out of focus bit in the foreground almost feels like a cutout, and maybe that has to do with like giving it a bit more shaping with the lighting, or but I mean like people won't really notice it, but as just as I was staring at it, I started to see it as a cutout.
Yeah, those are great. You're absolutely right.
Okay, I'll add some lighting to the foreground. Also, I did try to add like a displacement map to the top to get that sort of effect with the white sticking out, but I have to like subdivide the entire mushroom, and that starts getting like a lot of geometry. So I just went with that sort of noise bump map, but yeah, I could mess around with that a bit more.
Yeah, maybe I would if you can really just do a noise. I feel like it'd just be a more dense noise, like for those raised bits.
Like noise just where the white is.
Yeah, I mean, like if I look at these back mushrooms, to me they look. I can like imagine feeling those spots, and they'd be very bumpy.
Yeah,
Um,
like a barnacle almost.
yeah.
You mean a noise as a bump map or as a displacement map?
What if you? I mean, if you have probably the bump would sell it more, but I bet you could do it with I'm sorry, the displacement would sell it more, but
Yeah.
yeah, especially like
Because you've got a
like
couple
showing
right
in
here on
those.
the edge. Yeah, I think you'd have
Yeah.
to be displacement.
Yeah.
Two other things that were actually kind of bothering me when I was, and I'm not sure if this is just because I've been staring at it for a few hours now, but or also because I know, but that main mushroom is obviously a different asset. Like it was created separately from the other mushrooms. The other mushrooms are from Quixel, and the stalk of the main one was like obviously it had a different color to start with, but you can see that the stalk is kind of a brownish gray, whereas the other ones are very white. So I wondered if you thought that I should match that, make it white.
Forrest, what do you think?
I think that might be a good call. I think the front mushroom almost feels like a tree trunk, whereas those definitely like you. So, and I think because they're out of focus, the only thing you would need to do is match the color more closely.
Oh, you think that I should make the white ones gray or the gray one
No,
white?
gray one white.
Gray one
Yeah,
white.
okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Because
Even with the-
I can believe that these mushrooms have some individual qualities about them, especially the one that's that much bigger would have some unique characteristics. But yeah,
that's true.
I think that color would be. I think that color is let's match it to the white.
And then similar to that, I was thinking the same thing with like the how white those spots are, whereas you can see the background mushroom has got sort of a yellower spot. So I was thinking maybe I could mix that into some yellow too.
Yeah, that's good. Smart.
Absolutely.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's great. All right, let's see. And we've got so Thiago will do next, but for now we have Ruby is with us. So hello, Ruby.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Finally made it to Texas.
Oh, congratulations.
Getting used to the time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, cool. So the first thing when I looked at this was the background feels a little like the depth of field, the blurriness. It feels a little bit strong, and it's starting to make it feel like a miniature. It's and it might just be the resolution issue, or like the background might not just be because I'm seeing some like pixelation in here, but just out of the gate, like I was like, oh, this feels very small. I like the colors inside the house. So for the character, I almost feel like because she's kind of glowing uniformly, and it's not ghost-like because she's not really transparent. It almost makes me feel like we should isolate the glow to certain elements of her. Like maybe just her skin is glowing, her face, her hands, and the garment is actually dark. So there's some more shaping and darker values in there. But I love the color palette that you've got going on here. I think the shaping on the house looks really good. I love the light coming down here and hitting that and scraping along the sides. And I think a lot of it's working together really, really well. It's just there's just some little like it's like we really should define the look of this character a little bit more. Does that make sense? Is that kind of what you had envisioned?
Yeah. I've been actually having some issues to trying to get like a good look for the ghost. Because it's just I don't know. I've been trying to do like a transparent one, then looks like kind of too transparent.
It's really.
And then if I do like a mission, it's like the whole thing. So yeah, I think going for parts like you mentioned, that will be like a good thing to try right now and see how that.
Ghosts are hard. Yeah, ghosts and transparencies are really, really hard because we think about it, we're like, oh, it's a ghost. But like, if you start looking at reference of some ghost characters, let's see if we can do it now. You'll see that they each kind of have their own unique characteristics that make them feel like the Patrick Swayze popped up there. You know, like a lot of these are 2D. Let's see. So like Casper in the movie has a lot of shaping, and it's almost like they really hit him hard with some of the light in some areas, and then just allow him to go dark. So he basically functions like a normal character with just a little bit of transparency on it, where some of these other ones, like some of the other ones that we see are more like they have outlines. They've got more of just like a heavy rim light around them. I'm trying to think. Let's try this one more time. Transparent characters. Okay, last one. Render. All right, I give up. But basically, that was a fail. But basically, when I was doing a lot of research into, I forget what I had to do a transparent character on, but it's really really hard. So you like, I think it's about identifying what makes your ghost a ghost, and then give it those components. So for me, yeah, I think she has this long flowing dress. I always think about like that dress feels very Victorian to me, which is usually a very thick material, and so I don't think about a lot of light escaping from it. It's not like a flowy thing. So that's just where my head's at with it. But I would give that a try.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any thoughts before we part ways for the day?
I have one suggestion.
Shoot. Yeah. Do it.
Which is one thing that I think is making the like kind of back plate stick out from the house is there's a lot of volumetric or a lot of light scattering going on. Like you can see like that green is kind of just filling that background. So maybe there's a way to either add like some volumetric lighting. It doesn't necessarily have to be raised, but just like raising the contrast level and putting that green in the shot and making it feel a bit more washed out, like the background.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a try too to make it more green. Thank you.
Now that you mentioned the background, I think that the branches, basically the scale of the backplate image looks a bit too big for the scale of the house, because the branches in the far behind, they are super out of focus, but some of them are almost the same size of the walls or even the house.
That's a good point. I think that's another reason why it's feeling a little bit miniature is that scale. Because like, yeah, I think that's smart.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
I'll play around with it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Ruby. That was great. All right, I almost forgot Thiago's here. So this is a first assignment. This is a like really beautiful reference. So we've got shards of light cutting through here, just like little pockets on the ground that you've done a really beautiful job of kind of replicating. And you're seeing that it's like the foreground is more out of focus, and the background is a little bit more, and then we're just kind of able to zero in there in the middle. And you're dialing in this like kind of warm over cool kind of a thing. I think one of the things, I think I would make that a little bit smaller so that we can get some more light along the top of the head of our sphere. And it's almost like there's a little bit of translucency from this thing because you can kind of see some color bleed in there. And I'm not saying that you should change the material of this. I think you could add a very small area light under here that emits like a little bit of that kind of color coming through there a little bit onto the sky. But you're doing a great job. Like, look at this atmospheric buildup. Like, dark points fall off as we go back into space. Yeah, I think this swath of light might just be a little bit too big. I would narrow it down so we can kind of clip it off to just kind of right in there and allow that to go a little bit darker. just because it's like this is all about like very small patches of light around. But good shaping throughout. Good specularity on like these rings. Fitting those little bits of shaping in there. It looks great. And then I wonder if we could just use a little bit more contrast overall. Push this bright a little brighter. Yeah, something a little more like that. But yeah, I think that looks great. Would you guys have any other thoughts on this?
I think it looks great too. I'd say like one thing when I was doing this or like those early lessons, I wish I had thought more about the resolution and like frame size. And I feel like this would be a good time to just test copying the actual resolution or the aspect ratio of the reference. Just to start hammering that in that we don't always have to do 16:9.
That's true. That's very, yeah. Because I think that would go a long way too. That's smart. All right, cool. All right, well, everyone enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank you guys again for bearing with me yesterday. I had to pick up my son early from school. It became a whole thing yesterday, and I didn't have an opportunity to do the live critique. So I'm glad I was able to join you all today, and I will talk to you all very soon. All right,
Thanks,
be
everybody.
good. Be good, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.